east of 7 Hills in Florida's capital city, covering every corner of the Big Bend. This is the award-winning News 20 at 5 Live.
Welcome to the special edition of News 20 at 5. I'm Taylor Bishop.
And I'm Ray Baker. The Florida State University Police Department has arrested 6 people on felony charges. Half of those charged are FSU students. According to authorities, the people targeted are considered high-level drug traffickers. Charges include conspiracy to sell cocaine, trafficking cocaine, and sale of cocaine. The investigation began last November and was sparked by a tip from a confidential source. And today marks the anniversary of a shooting that rocked the FSU campus 1 year ago. Joining us live in the studio is Danielle Johnson to tell us more about the Strozier Library shooting memorial held today. Danielle?
Whereas students, faculty, and staff were set to hold a noon vigil at the Strozier Library to observe the 1-year anniversary of the shooting. That shooting injured 3 people and terrified many more. Myron May walked into the library and opened fire while many students were studying and preparing for exams. Since the shooting, FSU has increased security measures and provided a strong law enforcement presence on and around the campus. Although no lives were lost, FSU students, faculty, and staff plan to remember the tragic event by having a moment of silence followed by the ringing of chimes at the library. Live in the studio, I'm Danielle Johnson. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you for that, Danielle. A former FSU professor could spend the next 10 years behind bars. A federal jury yesterday convicted 40-year-old James Doran on charges of stealing money from the university's business school. Doran transferred more than $650,000 from a student-run investment portfolio into his personal investment account between May 2010 and March 2011. The funds were part of a federal grant set up to give business students practice in maintaining an investment portfolio. The former finance professor is scheduled to sentencing February 12, 2016.
And the search continues for 2 Georgia inmates who escaped from a prison work detail earlier this week in Thomas County. Officials believe a cell phone may have played a role in the escape. The Georgia Department of Corrections says it has confiscated more than 7,000 cell phones this year. U.S. Marshals have now taken over the escape case and are working with the DOC to locate the inmates. And Bond Community Health Center received nearly $100,000 in grant money on Wednesday. The grant is for an outreach enrollment assistance through the health insurance marketplace. The U.S. Health Resources and Service Administration says the funds will support Bond's work in raising awareness for affordable insurance options to uninsured residents in their communities.
And according to the Florida Hospital Association, hospitals throughout the state paid $1.5 billion in health costs for uninsured and underinsured patients. The FHA released its annual report noting that it provided inpatient care for nearly 3 million people and treated 9.5 million patients in 2014. The report comes after Governor Rick Scott repeatedly criticized hospitals, accusing them of charging rates that are driving up Medicaid costs. Florida hospitals helped more than 38,000 individuals obtain health plan insurance through the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid.
The Leon County School Board recently met to discuss plans for the next fiscal year. Multimedia journalist Taylor Bishop has more.
The Leon County School Board is ready to take on the next upcoming year, starting off with a change of positions, including a new chair and vice chair. Carlton DeSalvo, who sits on the School District Advisory Council, explains what Tallahassee students are trying to do for military veterans this upcoming
So
year.
we realize, this great initiative that we're already working towards with all the schools in Leon County. We might as well do this great thing that people need and will want and use that money towards Honor Flight and give that all to Honor Flight so we can send veterans to Washington, D.C.
3 major awards were given out that night, including the new Peggy Youngblood Instructional Annex, Healthy Lung Art Award of $7,000, and the Wellness Grant winners that were made up of over 40 different Leon County school teachers. During the Leon County School Board meeting, new members were elected, awards were given out, and plans were made for the 2015-2016 fiscal year. Chair Dee Dee Rasmussen weighs in on what Pons proposed within the Community School Exploratory
Committee. It could
Committee.
be a tremendous benefit to the area. I think the idea is that there will be multiple partners coming together to try to serve this particular community from lots of different perspectives. So you might have the city and the county and the school system and the hospital and Florida A&M University, I hope.
The next Leon County School Board meeting is set for December 10th. For News 20 at 5, I'm Taylor Bishop.
For more information, visit leonschools.net.
Fans can finally say hello to Adele's 25 album, which was released today and won't be available on music streaming services. Earlier this week, reports claim that she would limit 25's release to Spotify premium users only. Looks like she decided she doesn't want any of her album on streaming services. There is no more Mr. Subway guy. Jared Fogle was sentenced to 15 years and 8 months in prison after pleading guilty to possession and distribution of child pornography and sexual contact with a minor. It's been confirmed that he won't be eligible for parole for 13 years. And for all of the Hunger Games movie fans, this is the end of the popular movie series. Last night, Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 hit theaters, bringing the laughs, cries, and a lot of classical Haymitch moments. And this is all for eLive. I'm Tiandria Hood reporting. Now back to you ladies at the desk.
And now for our weekend forecast. Although it's beautiful today, we'll have a chance of showers tomorrow and Sunday. And for Sunday, be prepared to pull out those umbrellas. We'll have an 80% chance of rain, where the high is 74 and the low will be 52. That's all for the weather today. Now back to you at the desk.
Welcome back to the special edition of News 20 at 5. I'm Travis Milton with your sports. The Florida State Seminoles football team will take on the Chattanooga Mocs in their final home game of the season this Saturday. The Seminoles will also unveil their alternate black unconquered uniforms at the game. The last time the Seminoles wore the uniforms was against Boston College back in 2008. The game will kick off this Saturday at 3 p.m. at Bobby Bowden Field at Doak Campbell Stadium. And the Florida A&M Rattlers will go head-to-head against the Bethune-Cookman University Wildcats this weekend at the annual Florida Blue Florida Classic in Orlando. The rivalry game will end the regular season for both the Rattlers and Wildcats. Florida A&M has not won a classic game in the last 5 years and are hoping to change that this time around. The game kicks off this Saturday at 2:30 at the Citrus Bowl in Orlando. That's all we have in sports. Back to you at the desk.
And welcome back to News 20 at 5. I'm Berea Baker. If you're looking for something to do this weekend in the Big Bend area, we'll be kicking off the holiday season with this popular Festival of Trees. The event will feature artificially decorated trees, which will be available for purchase, music from local musicians, and an early visit from St. Nicholas for the kids. The event is located at the Godwood Museum and Gardens in Carriage House and kicks off at a preview tonight at 6 p.m. and wrap up Sunday evening. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight here at the station. For Shakori and Travis, I'm Berea Baker.
And I'm Taylor Bishop. Please don't forget to visit the FAMU News 20 tab for more news updates. Have a good evening.